Hello YouTube, this is Corman22 here, back with another 100-point squadron build for Star Wars X-Wing miniatures. For tonight's build, I'm revisiting kind of an old build that I used at the recent tournament that didn't exactly work that well. The build originally consisted of two T-65 X-Wings and a T-70 X-Wing, piloted by Dameron, Wedge Antilles, and Tarn Misen, respectively. After discovering the build had it did have potential. It had more flaws. It had more flaws than benefits, and add to the fact that it was three elite pilots, but apparently I've been told that having three elite pilots that kind of hinders the build. So what I've done instead is I've replaced Tarn Misen with a Quansar BTL Y-Wing attack starfighter, piloted by a Gold Squadron pilot, and given him a couple upgrades to help in his role. See how it works is this build is it operates like you're floating with this build. You're kind of floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee. Here's how this works. Poe Dameron here in his T-70, he's gonna mostly be flying. He's gonna mostly be arc dodging. He's gonna be flying outside of the enemy's firing arc and then attacking them from a different angle. Wedge Antilles is gonna be the guy that stings like the bee. He's gonna be rushing in head first, getting in as close as possible, preferably outside their firing arc, and dealing massive damage without giving them any chance to defend themselves. And the Y-Wing, he's just going to be there as kind of like he's there as a hindrance. He's going to be like he's going to like a fly, he's kind of like a mosquito, just flying around, picking shots off with his turret, disabling the ships and helping the X-Wings get into, helping the X-Wings out a bit in that regard. So the Y-Wing's not really there as attack craft. He's just there as a hindrance to the enemy, and he's got lots of more hit points than the X-Wings, so he'll last longer as well. So with that said, let's look at the build itself here. So it's three ship build. I've been told to try and branch off and try a 4-ship build or higher, and I have done that before. It's just, I just find 3 ships to be very easy to manage. Like 3 ships is kind of a good balance for me. Like I can handle a swarm. Like I have tried swarms before. They're good. They are really good, but I just find that it gets very, very confusing as to who's who, even with the markers. So that's why I kind of limit my squadrons to maybe 3 and maximum of 4 ships. But yeah, that's enough of that. Let's go on to the build. So the squadron leader of the build here is none other than Commander Wedge Antilles of Rogue Squadron. He has a pilot skill of 9. He flies the Incom T-65 X-Wing. He has an attack value of 3, an agility value of 2, a hull value of 3, and a shield value of 2. He can take on the focus and lock-on actions. He costs 29 squadron points, and he's able to take on an elite pilot skill upgrade, warhead upgrade, and astromech upgrade. And his ability states, when attacking, reduce the defender's agility value by 1 to a minimum of 0. So Wedge, as I've said before, many a time again, Wedge's ability makes him a bomber killer. If he's attacking it, and no matter what direction he's attacking from, the enemy loses 1 agility point, as long as they're within range 1 to 2. If you're at range 2 to 3, or if you're at range 3, then the agility bonus makes up for that loss of agility. However, I've also found out that if you were to, say if you're going up against a ship that's no agility from the start, and you're attacking at range 3, Wedge's ability does not take effect. They still get the range bonus because it's technically not part of their agility, and their agility value is already down to a minimum of 0 anyway. So yeah, Wedge, you want to get in that range 1 to 2, preferably range 1. Because their agility will go down, your attack value will go up. Plain and simple. For his upgrades, his modification, I've gone with an engine upgrade, which states your action bar gains the boost action icon, which is good because the T-70 X-Wing, the successor to the T-65, is able to do that inherently. So by giving Wedge an engine upgrade, he's able to keep up with Poe Dameron as well as throw off his enemies with that little extra maneuver. For his elite pilot skill, I have chosen Outmaneuver, which states, when attacking a ship inside your firing arc, if you are not inside that ship's firing arc, reduce its agility value by 1 to a minimum of 0. So Outmaneuver, added with Wedge's ability, can pretty much make him make any starfighter vulnerable to him. Because Outmaneuver decrease the agility value by 1 if their Wedge is outside the firing arc, and Wedge inherently is able to reduce their agility value as well by himself. So yeah, with Wedge, you preferably want to get outside the firing arc of your enemy, and then attack them at range 1. their agility value goes down by 2, provided provided they have an agility value of 2 or higher, or agility value of 2 or lower, and which leaves them with no defense dice to roll. And Wedge has an attack value 4, so that pretty much guarantees you a direct hit. And then for his droid, his Astro, I've chosen R5D8, which states action: roll 1 defense die. On an evade or a focus result, discard 1 of your face-down damage cards. So R5D8, he's there for last ability. The X-Wings are fragile on their own. They only have about 5 hit points each, and 2 agility value doesn't really help them evade damage that well. So with R5D8, once Wedge's shields are down, he starts taking hull damage. R5D8 helps Wedge become more of a defensive fighter. He will... this basically means that he'll have the focus target lock boost action, and then he'll have R5D8 as his action. And if you have at least 1 hull damage on Wedge, as long as it's not a critical, you can use R5D8 to roll a defense dice and repair that damage. And since focuses or evades are pretty, like, the chances of you getting a focus or evade are like, let's see, there's 8 dice, so you have like, out of 8 rolls, 5 of those rolls will be at least a focus or an evade. So that means that you have a pretty good chance of getting rid of those face-down damage cards, as long as you keep using R5D8 and avoiding enemy fire. Now for his first wingmate, the defensive ship, we have Dameron. Dameron has a pilot skill of 8. He flies the Incom T-70 X-Wing. He has an attack value of 3, an agility value of 2, a hull value of 3, and a shield value of 3. He can take on the focus, lock-on, and boost actions. He costs 31 squadron points. And he's able to take on an elite pilot skill upgrade, a warhead upgrade, an astromech upgrade, and attack upgrade. His ability states, when attacking or defending, if you have a focus token, you may change 1 of your focus results to a hit or an evade result. So Dameron, his ability is purely defensive. Well, no, it's actually not purely defensive. It's more it's a mix of offense and defense. It's kind of like Luke Skywalker's ability, where if you're defending, you can change 1 of your focuses to an evade by without having to spend a focus. With Dameron, as long as you have a focus token on him, you can change 1 of your focus results to a hit or an evade result without spending it. So Poe's ability is really good for getting those free evades or hits, and that could really help you turn the tide in the battle, depending on his target. Now, for his elite pilot skill, I have gone with Push the Limit, which states once per round after you perform an action, you may perform 1 free action showing your action bar, then receive a stress token. So this means that Poe is not able to take 2 actions. He can take a boost or a lock-on, and then after that he can take an evade action, or take a focus action and then get stressed out. And since the X-Wing has, the T-70 has 1 more green maneuver than the T-65, it's a little bit easier to get rid of that stress. Yeah, it's a little bit easier to get rid of that stress because, well, I mean, he's got 5 green maneuvers to work with, and his speed 3, one of them being his speed 3 green, his speed 3 ahead, and you know, that means he'll be able to stay on his enemy's tail with relative ease. Now for his astromech, this is where Poe becomes a purely defensive fighter. I've chosen BB-8, and he states, when you reveal a green maneuver, you may perform a free barrel roll action. So BB-8 gives Dameron that extra action that he doesn't have inherently. And how it works is this. You reveal your green maneuver, which is like any of his speed 1s, his straight into speed 2, or straight speed 3, which is a green maneuver. You have the option to perform your barrel roll. You take your barrel roll action, which then triggers Push the Limit, which means you can get a second action like a focus or like a target lock or a boost. You take that action, you get stressed, and then you perform your maneuver, which is a green maneuver, get rid of the stress, and that allows you to take a focus action for Poe's last ability. So with this build in mind, Poe is able to take 3 actions at once. He can take a barrel roll, which is normally not part of his action bar. Push the Limit lets him take a focus, a boost, or a target lock, depending on the situation. And after he performs his maneuver to get rid of his stress, he can perform his actual action, because both the barrel roll and whatever action you choose after that are considered free actions. They're not his action. They're not really his actions, like his inherent actions, like after you make a maneuver. So that means, you know, BB-8, you get your free barrel roll, push the limit, get your booster target lock, make your maneuver, get rid of the stress, and then take your focus action for Poe's ability. So this makes Poe into a purely defensive fighter. He's going to be hovering around outside the enemy's firing arc, using BB-8's ability, probably going at speed 1 or speed 2, depending on the scenario, pushing the limit all the time, getting rid of the stress and taking his focus, and getting to a good position to counterattack. Finally, for the last ship in the build, the the Mosquito of the build, we have a Gold Squadron pilot. He has a pilot skill of 2, and he flies the Quansar BTL. It says A4, but it's actually an S3 model, so it's a BTL S3 Y-Wing attack starfighter. It has an attack value of 2, an agility value of 1, a hull value of 5, and a shield value of 3. He can take on the focus and lock-on actions. He costs 18 squadron points, so these guys are cheaper than X-Wings. Don't ask me how that works, because these guys are supposed to be heavier ships than the X-Wings. And he can take on a turret cannon upgrade, 2 warhead upgrades, and an astromech upgrade. He's a common pilot, so no ability. And like I said, he's not really there for combat measure. He's just there to, you know, piss off your opponent with his turret. And basically, yeah, so Poe is the butterfly, Wedge is the bee, and the Gold Squadron pilot is the Mosquito. Picking off shots with his turret and helping the other two, dealing enough damage for the other two to get into a better range to fire. His turret upgrade is an ion cannon turret, which has an attack value of 3 and can be used at range 1 to 2, which states, attack one ship, even a ship outside your firing arc. If this attack hits the target ship, the ship suffers 1 damage and receives 1 ion token, then cancel all dice results. So for an attack value of 3, you got a pretty decent chance of inflicting ion damage to your opponent, which again will help Wedge and Poe get into a better firing position the next turn for them to make their counterattack. And for some added defensive measures, 2 squadron points left, so I went with an R7 astromech, which states, once per round when defending, if you have a target lock on the attacker, you may spend the target lock to choose any or all the attack dice. The attacker must re-roll the chosen dice. So we're not for normally in order to complete this build, I would have the auto thrusters onto Poe Dameron, which means I would have to get rid of the R7. But I don't have the Star Viper expansion, so auto thrusters is not out of the question. Otherwise, Poe Dameron will be even more of a defensive fighter, and even more of a harder target to hit. But the Golden Squadron pilot now has the R7 astromech, which helps give him some added defense capabilities, because he only has an agility value of 1. That's not really going to get him very far if he's under constant enemy fire. So with the R7 astromech, you can use your target lock in a more defensive manner. You can spend it on the target that's attacking you. Have them choose any of the dice that you don't like, the results that they don't like, and then have them re-roll it, and hopefully luck will be on your side. You'll get a more favorable result and minimize, if not completely, avoid damage altogether. So, yeah, this is I'm gonna call this my butterfly bee and mosquito build. Give me a quick second and I'll show you exactly how it works. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we got the ship set up. I'm gonna make this so that the ships have to move first. So for this scenario, we're just gonna ignore the Imperial ships, and I'm just gonna show you how it works. So how it works is this: the Gold Squadron pilot, again, he's gonna be the Mosquito. He's gonna be attacking with his turret primarily and inflicting ion damage on the target, so that they can get into a better firing position to attack the next turn. For this round, he's going to do a soft 2, like this. Like so. Oops, sorry. So yeah, he takes a soft 2 like that. And then his action is going to be a target lock onto, this is Suntir Fel, by the way. He's taking a target lock onto Suntir Fel. And then Poe Dameron is going to move. Say he has a, he's going to do a soft 1 maneuver. Hang on, I'm just moving back a little bit. He's going to be doing a soft 1 maneuver. That is a soft 1 to the left, sorry. So that means he's going to be doing his free barrel roll, like so. Like that. And then he is going to boost this way. And his maneuver is a straight 1, and okay, I didn't really calculate that very well. But let's say he's back further this way. He makes his maneuver like that. Say for this scenario, he's out of the firing arc. And then for his third action, because the green maneuver gets rid of the stress, he gets his focus token. And then Wedge moves. He's going to be doing he's going to be doing a straight 3, like this. And then a boost. And no, that's fail. No, okay, so he's not going to be doing a straight 3. That's kind of a fail. Sorry for all this. This is kind of just... Say for this scenario, he's going to do a... he's going to do a soft 3. Like this. No. And a little bit farther over here. It's going to be doing a soft 3 like that. There. And then he'll do his boost action. And now, as you can see, he's out of Suntirfell's firing arc. He's at range 1. And now all 3 ships are in a good shot to fire at. So, how this is going to work is Wedge is going to get the first shot at Suntir. Suntir's agility is going to be going down by 2 because of Wedge and Outmaneuver. So Wedge is going to get... He's going to get 4 dice. Suntir would normally get 3, but Wedge's ability and Outmaneuver leaves him with only 1. So he now has the same agility value as a bomber. Now we'll roll the dice. So this scenario, he has a hit and a focus. He has no way to modify that, so it's now Suntir's turn. And he has a focus, so Suntir takes 1 hit. Now it's Dameron's turn to attack. 4 dice again, but this time Suntir will have all 3 of his agility dice. But Poe has his focus token in hand. Okay, so he has a focus. He can change that by default to a hit. And if he wants to, he could spend his focus to change this to a hit, but I'm not going to do that. So he'll have 2 agility. He'll have a hit and a critical on Suntir. Suntir makes his roll. Suntir has an evade and 2 focuses. Though Suntir will suffer a critical. Let's say the critical is loose stabilizer, which means he won't be able to. I think it makes all sharp turns red maneuvers. I believe. I don't know for a fact. I'll have to double check. And then finally, the TIE Defender here would make a shot at Poe, but of course Poe has a range agility value of 2. But if he had a focus. If he had a focus, again, by default, he could change that to an evade because of his evade token. And then, of course, the Y-Wing fighter here would attack with his ion cannons. Oops. Secondary weapon, so no range bonus. Okay, that's a pretty good roll, so he doesn't have to spend his target lock on Suntir. And with that, Suntir would be destroyed. Because he'll take 1 damage and 1 ion damage, but Suntir's already lost 2 hull. So that means Suntir is out of the picture. He loses his target lock, and now they have to circle around and hit a new target. So that's pretty much how my Butterfly, Bee, and Mosquito build goes. It's a synergy build, kind of. But if the Y-Wing is cannon fodder, so if he goes, it's not really that much of a problem. But he has lots of hull. He has lots of defense to help him out with that. So mostly it's the X-Wings you're going to want to try and keep alive, because they're vital to this build. But anyway, yeah, this is my Butterfly, Bee, and Mosquito build. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Any constructive criticism is greatly appreciated. If you like, you may use this build for any competitive or casual play. Or if you want, you can tweak it or revamp it to your own specifications. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Corbin22, signing off.